We'll call the governing board meeting of the Lammersville Unified School District to order at 7 p.m. As a reminder, this meeting is being live streamed and recorded, so we'd ask members of the audience to please silence and/or turn off your cell phones. We will have Trustee Clements lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready? Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, roll call.
Lisa Boulay.
Here.
Colin Clements.
Here.
Benita Daniel.
Absent.
Stephanie Olson.
Here.
David Pombo.
Absent.
Devika Vitolani.
Here.
Item 4, approval and/or corrections to the agenda.
There are none.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
On a motion by Trustee Clements and seconded by Trustee Boulay, student trustee preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes with 3 ayes, no noes, and 2 absent. Item V, community reports. We're going to waive reading these because I don't believe there's anything to report, and I would like to report to the board that normally we make reassignments in July, but because we have 2 board members absent, we will be doing that at the next meeting. Moving on to item 6, governing board reports. Trustee Clements.
Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to thank my peers on the board for covering for me for the last month. My family and I had a fantastic trip to Europe, Rome, Athens, Istanbul. It was incredible. Thank you very much for covering for me. I really appreciate it. It's a long-awaited family trip. I do have some bad news to report. My aunt, we'd been planning it for a year and a half. My aunt was supposed to go with us, and the Thursday before the Sunday that we were flying out, she went in the hospital, and unfortunately, she passed away while we were gone. But we sorely missed her, but we brought her with us, and we actually, I photoshopped her in to pictures like in front of the Pantheon and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, thank you very much for covering for me. It was unbelievable. I owe you guys one, really. End of my report.
Thank you, Trustee Clements, and I'm sorry for your loss. Trustee Boulay?
Yeah, on July 4th, I attended the Mountain House City Commemoration Celebration as well as the 4th of July Parade. It's always an honor to be in that, and this year was extra special because Mountain House is now a city. And then on the 10th, I attended the Mountain House Town Council meeting to give the school district report. And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Oh, and my apologies, student trustee. I did not call on you. I don't know what I was thinking. So
She was saving the best for last.
yeah, well, you probably have more to report than the rest of us, so we get to hear.
Thank you. So good evening. My report's really short. I just want to mention that at the end of June, I had the absolute honor of attending the American Legion Auxiliaries ALA Girls State, California. So it's just a program where one girl from each and every high school comes together, and we met at Sacramento State University for 5 days, and we create a mock government. We have mock positions leading from school board members to the governor of the state, and I had the absolute honor to represent our high school. It was a great experience. Honestly, I went in thinking that it would just be a fun summer camp. But as someone who is interested in a career in law, it was honestly a dream come true to see so many girls passionate from all over California. Overall, it was a great experience, and I cannot wait to tell the upcoming juniors about this program. Thank you.
Thank
If
you.
I may, Madam President.
You may.
So did you run for any state offices?
So I did try running for Secretary of State. Unfortunately, someone signed my documents a little wrong, so I was unable to run.
Oh,
But I
Wow.
was able to serve as a research attorney and just help out overall. It was a great experience, though.
Fantastic.
yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you were able to go to that. I did that when I was in high school, and for the state I lived in. It's a wonderful experience. So brings
Are you-
back memories.
Are you going to go back as a counselor?
Hopefully, yeah. If I'm not visiting India next year, I definitely will.
Awesome.
I did that when I was in high school. I went to Boise State, and
Really?
I was Speaker Pro Tem of the House,
Oh, wow.
And I went back 3 years and was a counselor because I thought it was such a fantastic educational experience.
Thank you. On July 1st, I attended the inauguration of our town mayor and city council, where they were all sworn in. And I'd like to congratulate Mountain House and everyone who played a role in making us become a city. On July 3rd, I attended the graduation of 3 students from the high school who were able to fulfill the requirements to graduate upon completing summer school. And it was a wonderful experience. I would like to thank the teachers and staff who worked so hard to encourage them and help them to get to that point where they could get their diplomas. And so I was grateful to be part of that. On July 4th, I participated in the 4th of July parade with fellow trustees. I'd like to thank Dr. Nicholas for addressing the community on behalf of the board. I appreciated your comments and was really happy and thankful that the new city manager gave our school board a chance to say something and that the community was able to hear from you. And I think that they were probably very grateful as well. On July 10th, I did attend the CSD board meeting and made a public comment in my capacity as board president. These are definitely very exciting times for our city, and they have a lot on their plate. So I shared a simple request that they work with us to help the community avoid confusion by whenever a community member reaches out to them with a question that falls within our purview, that they send that community member to the district instead of trying to resolve it as a middleman. And the point I was making was that, we will do the same for them as we always have, and that this will help avoid community member confusion and allow them to establish the relationships they need to with the appropriate organizations. And part of my motivation is that it's easy to get confused about who has what purview. And so I just wanted to make it clear that as a school district, we report to nobody in this city. We report to the County Office of Ed, who reports to the State Department of Ed. And I appreciate that it was the openness of the CSD to listen and find ways to help us help each other, help the community. So, and I would also just like to conclude by saying, as one who has lived in Mountain House for 17 years, and a person who moved here after reading about the schools that existed, and at the time I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Where could I do that, affordably with 4 kids at the time? And I read about the schools. It was only Bethany, Lammersville, and Wickland at the time. We moved here, and I just want to thank LUSD leadership, teachers, staff, past, present, that have all made immense contributions to the growth of this town. People would not move here without our excellent schools. And I am very grateful to everyone in this district, like I said, past and present, who has contributed to the eventual cityhood of Mountain House. Dr. Nicholas, you have worked tirelessly and essentially nonstop to ensure that we have been able to build new schools as new villages are built. And it hasn't been an easy task. And you have done so brilliantly. And we are so fortunate to have the schools we have and to have the systems and processes in place that push us all to continually improve upon this excellent foundation. As you often say, Dr. Nicholas, we are not perfect, but it should be noted that LUSD has been a large reason this city can become a city. And I'm very grateful, and I want to thank you all for what you have done. And that concludes my report. Item 7, public comments. I do not have any comment cards. Is there any member of the audience who would like to make a comment? Seeing none, we will waive reading of our policy and move on to item 8, consent items for consideration. Actions proposed for consent are consistent with the approved practices of the district and are deemed routine in nature. Trustees receive board agenda background information in advance of scheduled meetings and are prepared to vote with knowledge on the consent items. Item A, governing board meeting minutes. Special meeting June 17th, 2024, and regular meeting June 18th, 2024. Item B, contracts under $50,000. Item C, ratification of certificated and classified personnel actions. Item D, ratification of 2024-2025 inter- and intra-district transfer requests. Item E, ratification of warrant list for June 2024. Item F, declaration of surplus materials e-waste. And item G, acceptance of donation, $412 percussion bell kit with rolling cart from the Chang family for the Altamont Elementary School music program. Does any member of the board wish to poll or further discuss any of the items?
Move to approve the consent items.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Boulay and seconded by trustee Clements, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes with 3 ayes, no nos, and 2 absent. Madam Clerk, will you please do the honor?
Yes, we would like to welcome the following new employees to Lammersville Unified School District. Zainab Butt, CTE Biomedical Science Teacher. Lindy Chia, 7th, 8th grade Science Teacher. Natalie DeRosa, Mathematics Teacher. Melissa Gonzalez, Campus Supervisor. Ashlyn Harmon, Self-Contained Classroom Teacher. Brittany Herrera, Self-Contained Classroom Teacher. Martin Medriano, Self-Contained Classroom Teacher. Clarissa Lul Mejia, Speech Language Pathologist. Tristan Romo, Campus Supervisor. Linda Tran, Health Teacher. Leslie Vega, High School Office Supervisor. Aiden Walter, Self-Contained Classroom Teacher. Maria Wari, Mathematics Teacher. Michael Weiner, Music Teacher. Summer Wolf, Learning Commons Technician. And Vincent Iovino, Physical Education Teacher. Welcome to the Lammersville family.
Item 9, District Administrative Reports. Item A, Superintendent's Report.
Yes, so I have a number of items here, all brief. I wanted to show a picture from today. This is the beginnings of what will be 15 classroom project south of the classroom wing at Mountain House High School. In total, the buildings won't take up that whole dirt space, but they need to create enough dirt to move around. Just a couple of reminders. It's 15 classrooms, of which 13 are regular classrooms and 2 are labs, 1 for bio, 1 for chem. The project is being built because of our board's forethought in understanding that future growth, which is imminent at this point in time, is going to require additional capacity. And it's been this and past boards' commitment to try to minimize any use of portables. So these 15 classrooms, if we were to max them out at full throttle, could it fit approximately 35 kids? So if you do the simple math, that's 450 to 500 plus additional students. I thought Trustee Boulay was very articulate speaking to the new city council and explaining that Lammersville Unified and Mountain House High School have a 7-period high school day, of which 70 to 75% of the students take advantage of, which means they get an additional class. So they can take an additional elective, additional CTE program, an additional AP class, something that they're curious in. So that's a commitment to academic excellence, which is unfamiliar to a lot of communities and school districts, but our school district has made that commitment. We also added 8 portables a year ago. So if you add 15 to 8, that's 23 classrooms. Those portables right now are planned to be there for approximately 3 years, and they are currently protecting the 7-period day with the current building that exists. I can tell you we're over 2,400 students at the high school. So the timing of this building is perfect because we would be able to absorb any additional growth with the growth pending in north of Byron Highway and south of Grant Line Road. Finally, just to say, it's possible that down the road, if the school is going to get bigger than 3,000 students, because if we add 500 to 24 plus, that gets you into the 2,900 realm, that there might be a need for an additional building, and there's still space without destroying any sports fields for additional space. So I know there's been some concern. Some of that is based in cynicism, and some of that's based in just not having enough information. So I hope this information to the board is helpful in explaining that we build things when the time is right and when the money is available. So that's my first update. Second, AP exam results. This is exciting news. So in the 2024 school year, the total number of students taking an AP exam is 866 of approximately 2,300 students. The total number of exams taken, because students can take more than one, is 1,717. The total number of students receiving a score of 3 or higher, which is a pass on the AP exam, was 690. And the percent of total AP students with scores of 3 or higher was just under 80% at 79.68%. To show you, it's just kind of a nice metaphor for what I just said about facilities. As we were growing the high school program back in 2018, 264 students. So that's a almost 600 kid increase over a 6-year period. The number of exams, 476 to 1717. The number of 3 or higher on the AP exams, 145 to 690. And the percent of success was just under 55% to just under 80%. So I think that shows you the level of commitment to academics and growing programs and learning as we go, and the commitment of this board for high quality academic programs for students. Thirdly, we received a call out of the blue from an entity who was interested in studying successful school districts, and they wanted to study school districts that were successful during COVID. And it's a partnership with the University of California, Berkeley, and the American Institute for Research. So we met with Dr. Fuller, a professor emeritus from Cal, and his team, who also were associated with the Public Policy Institute of California. So they've written this research study. This is a draft, so it's still in the blue line, but I'm doing a meeting with all of the school districts they studied. I believe there are 6 to 8. And we were able, myself, senior staff, a couple of administrators, the union president, to tell the Lammersville way in a Lammersville story about how we were successful and our test scores went up during COVID. So we'll be, when this is finalized, we'll be posting it on the website and sharing it with anybody who is in earshot and some people who are not. But when you read our parts, it's pretty, it'll make you proud. So that was exciting, and that was unsolicited, so that was pretty good stuff. And then finally, a very crucial thing for our district. On July 3rd, 2024, the legislature approved Assembly Bill 247. You ask me, what is Assembly Bill 247?
What is Assembly Bill 247?
This is a big one because it has to do with state construction funds and a state construction bond. So in November of 2024, Proposition 2 is going forward. It's a $10 billion K-14 school bond. This is crucial because we pay for the construction of K-8 schools by a combination of Mello-Roos bonds and state construction bond money. And for people who don't follow us day to day, we haven't been paid for the Costa construction, even though Costa is entering its 2nd year. We have had a modernization project for Lammersville Elementary on there for 3 years, and we're not getting any funding because there's no state construction bond. The last one, called Prop 13, failed to pass in 2020. So just some technical information. The bill will provide $8.5 billion for construction and modernization of elementary and secondary educational facilities, and another $1.5 billion for community colleges. So it is crucial to our, well, it's this, if we don't get a state construction bond, the district's going to have to convince developers to pay their fair share of their development mitigation, and what that means is they have to pay to build the next school or portion of the next school. And trying to get developers to pony up money is always a difficult and arduous task. It would be better if it just came in from the state. So with that, Madam President, that is my report.
Thank you, Dr. Nicholas.
If I may, Madam President, when Dr. Nicholas was talking about the college group that were looking to study districts that had successfully transitioned during COVID to online learning and avoided the devastating learning loss suffered by so many districts and students, I pointed at myself, but I didn't mean, I wasn't, so viewers could take that to mean that I was pointing at me, but I was pointing at us as a district, saying that this district did fantastically well for our students at that time, and it is something that I am very proud of, and it was a combined effort of the teachers, the staff, everybody working together to do that. So I was not pointing at me, I was pointing at we. Anyway, thank you.
Trustee Clements, you just triggered a memory I had of that time. I was not on the board when, this when COVID was going on. I came in midway of that whole thing. But when schools had to shut down for the first time, I just remember my middle school student had heard the news about, like schools are shutting down, kids aren't going to get any school. And then she finds out that within 3 days, they're getting school. And she said, why do we have to have school? Nobody else is. But that's just, kind of an illustration of how on top of it we were, because it is true that most students were not getting an education for several weeks or months. But our students were. So. Yeah.
And just a reminder that we were also one of the school districts in San Joaquin County that was the most open when it was safe enough to be open. So we did pretty good on the opening part too. Thanks to the folks sitting out there.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to item B, District Maintenance and Operations Report.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. First up, I have the operations report from Director Jason Dixon. It says, here are the board items for operations. Summer cleaning is going well. We have plans to put a team at Bethany soon as ELOP and the summer program is over to get it caught up. Green waste bins will be delivered to all sites August 1st to be ready for use. The new civic permits employee is scheduled to start on the 22nd of this month, and they currently have no custodial openings. That's the operations report. So for us, maintenance, school starts 3 weeks from yesterday. We're doing our best to get everything caught up and get everything done before the kids come back. The guys, Larry Rubin and Adolfo, they've been out striping parking lots and playgrounds. They did Hanson, they did Lammersville. They worked on the front of the high school today. We had a very helpful parent drive through our cones and get yellow paint all over the place, so we're trying to fix that. And they're gonna do some more painting at the high school tomorrow, and then they have to do Bethany and Wickland, and then they'll be done with that. Temperatures have cooled off this week, but the last few weeks have been blistering hot. We have upped our irrigation from 5 days to 6 days, except at Casa, which is getting watered 7 days a week. I'll talk about Casa at the end if you don't mind. The pool has been acted up this week. There was a leak on one of the filters that Jesus, the head custodian there, was able to fix. The low chemical light was on, but we got a chemical delivery today, so that's taken care of. The alkaline level started to dip a little bit, so on Friday, I'm gonna go and add around 300 or so pounds of baking soda to the pool to bring that level up to a better number. And other than that, that's it with it's my weekly thing with the pool. The new classroom at the high school, you saw the picture from Dr. Nicholas. They've been moving dirt. We have done our best to cap the irrigation around the perimeter of the construction fencing, so everything on that side of the fence hopefully will stay green. And then, knock on wood, that'll be good. And then the first construction meeting for us is August 7th. And again, this project's gonna take about a year. It'll be done sometime next June. The Cuesta Montessori and the Bethany playgrounds, we were gonna put new pour in place at the Cuesta Montessori. That's done, looks great. The color is nice blue color, blue-black color. Unfortunately, one of the students stepped in it, so there was a small footprint. Went through the caution tape, stepped on it. There's a small footprint about yay big. I have a repair kit coming that's free of charge. It's coming now. When it gets here, I will repair the playground myself sometime next week. Bethany, we put the turf over the two existing playgrounds on the kindergarten and the primary. That's done. They look great. If you're at Bethany anytime soon, please check them out. It makes amazing the difference from what it before and after. The site trip hazard surveys, you recall we did the surveys last fall. We got a bunch of work done. We had to get the work done by June 30th because of funding. We did all that. That's good. Thanks to Gloria and her team, we have additional funding available. So we're gonna do a second round of that, and that I'm scheduling that now, and that has to be done by September 30th because of the funding. So we did 7 schools the first time: Altamont, Bethany, Hanson, the high school, Cuesta, and Wickland. This time we're gonna concentrate on the older school, the 5: Altamont, Bethany, Lammersville, the high school, Cuesta, and Wickland. I guess that's 6 older schools. So we're gonna concentrate on those schools for that second round of trip hazard removal. The football field, I'm sure everybody has the image of Dr. Nicholas and I playing football on the field. We had the testing done. They rate our field on 5 criteria. I'll read them real quick. Fiber conditions, infill conditions, system conditions, safety conditions, and playability conditions. 1 to 2 ranking is extremely high risk. 2 to 4 is a high risk. 4 to 6 is moderate. 6 to 8 is a low risk. 8 to 10 is very low risk. Our overall rating is a 5.1, so we are in the moderate risk of injury category. So what they recommend is maintenance to the field, redoing the infield, fluffing it up, for lack of a better term. I had that scheduled for August 22nd, and they said with that sort of work, we'll move up into the low risk category. That's their recommendation. It's going to be twice a year. It'll be now, and we'll do it sometime after the first of the year. And for 2 years, we have a contract with them, and we use the youth facilities money that you guys approved, so thank you for that. That's where we are with that. The windscreens at the high school, the windscreens are an incredibly tedious project. There are grommets at the top, grommets at the middle, grommets at the bottom, 60, 60, 60, 180 grommets per panel. Each needs about a 6-inch piece of wire to wire to the fence. So kudos to Mayor and Adolfo. They're out there for well over a week putting all these in. Unfortunately, they shouldered us a panel for the tennis courts. We got all the panels in, and the panel on the southeast corner by Cordes Park, we're short. So I contacted the vendor to get us another panel. I had the guys move over to the pool to start on the pool. They pulled out the first panel of the box. The panel's 9 feet tall. The fence is 8 feet tall. So it doesn't work. So they're picking those up. They're going to re-stitch them, refix them. They measured it, so this is on them. They're going to fix it and get us the right panels. So right now we're holding paddle until we get the new stuff back. Renee Nunn and I, the athletic director, and I are working with them to get these things fixed. So that's where we are with that. The preschool project at Wickland, I've been working with the preschool, the portable, people at the portable at Wickland. They wanted to put turf to the right of their portable. I've been working with them for several months on this project. We removed some of the poplar trees with the ugly roots that are trip hazards, and they came in and paid for the turf to get done. And there's a big, nice section of turf. It's got to be 30 by 30 at least to the right of that portable. Nice play area. It looks great. If you get a chance, go by there and check it out. The landscape upgrades at Montessori, Questa Montessori. Now that we did the playground, the rest of the place looked a little shabby. So I worked with them. They want to put sod in, so on the east side of that structure, that play area over by the park, they resodded all that. Our guys came and cleaned up. We trimmed the trees, everything. We're going to plant new bushes and new bark in the front entrance on both sides of the sidewalk. We're going to do our part of that next week, and a couple more trees in the grass right in front of the buildings. So that's ongoing. The kitchen remodel project is taking some time, but we have a price coming to the board later tonight for your approval. If it's approved, the construction will start on July 26th, and it's 125 days of construction, and it'd be done around Thanksgiving time, end of November. So I walked the site with Bernie last Thursday. About what stays, what goes, what needs to be moved, what needs to be demolished, all that. So we're all on the same page on that. Upcoming items for us, we have bleacher inspections later this month on July 25th and 26th. On the 25th, we're doing Altamont, Bethany, and Cordes. And then on the 26th, we're doing Hanson, Questa, and Wickland. If you remember, we did the high school gyms last year. So we're doing the K-8 schools this year. And then on the 30th this month, we have elevator inspections at Mount House High School and Hanson. And then we currently have no openings as well. So back to Casa, the elephant in the room, right? We know that the field has been struggling for several months at Casa. We've been doing our best to mitigate it, extra watering, whatever. We turned the water back on. I don't remember exactly, but it's late April, early May when the rest of schools came on. It's been fading ever since. We aerated the field 2 weeks ago, came out aerated again last week. The booster pump was broken. We got it fixed. It was fixed as of Monday. Our goal moving forward is to get it as green as we can up and before the kids come back. And then in the fall, when the weather cools, we're gonna have to overseed it, probably late September, early October, overseed the field and probably fertilize it and get it ready for spring. So that's our plan.
Any questions by the board?
And I just want to point out, it's not the whole, it's just the soccer field and the cricket field. The softball field's fine, the quad's fine, the front of the school's fine.
Okay.
So
For
Dr. Nickerson would add anything, I don't know. It's good.
I want to congratulate both the maintenance and operations departments. I think this might be the first time that I've been on the board that we've had no openings in those departments. So I think
Amazing,
that
huh?
is something
Do
to
you remember?
celebrate. Yeah. So exactly. I'm
Don't jinx us, right? I mean,
Knock on wood,
no.
knock on wood hard, please.
And then I have a question about the football field. So they're going to fluff up the football field the end of August-ish. Is that what I heard?
When is it gonna be done?
Yeah.
In August 22nd. Yeah.
Okay. And is that just going to take one day, or will that take?
Yeah, it's like a half day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering about interference with football games.
They have a
or-
machine that comes in and actually, for lack of terms, almost like a vacuum, it sucks it up and they actually wash it and then relay a nice even coat of the material. It's pretty cool.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
But it won't interfere with football practice or football games because it'll be done before the season's.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's not going to impact anything. It won't impact practice, anything. It'll be, they do it and they can play on it that day. It's not a big deal.
Okay. And then one final question on the Costa lawn. Do we know why we're having such trouble with it? Why it's not green?
Is there a theory for why the soccer field and cricket field at Costa are struggling?
I don't have a theory, but the only thing I will say is that when we put the grass in, when you stand there and you look at one side and it's green and there's a sidewalk and it's brown, one side was sod, one side was hydroseed. That's the only difference I could see. It's the same timer, valves, sprinklers, everything is the same on campus. So that's the only difference I could see.
So there's a behind the scenes conversations asking the question, was there a problem with the hydroseed? Why would it go from lawn to this problem? And is it a warranty issue because it's within a year? So all of those are happening behind the scenes, but that takes time.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, Director LeGrand made it clear, when the temperature goes down, we're going to put a bunch of seed on there and water it as crazy as much as we can, let it grow back in, and it'll be resolved. But it's a mystery at this point in time.
Thank you. I just want to thank you and your crew for all the hard work you've been doing all summer long. I know you guys don't get a break. You might even work extra hard, especially with this heat. And I know there's a lot of outdoor work that has to get done. So, and it has been crazy hot lately. So, thank you to your whole crew.
I do have questions on
Yeah.
the football field. And I'm not casting blame because I don't even know that there is blame. I'm seeking to understand. So the football field is rated from, essentially 1 to 10.
1 to 10, yeah.
Yeah. And so 9 and 10 is low risk or whatever, and 5 is moderate risk. And so my question is, did we get to 5 because we weren't doing there were things we could have been doing to keep it in the 8-9 region, or is it just that's the kind of the nature of the beast? And realize I don't know the answer. I'm simply asking to
Some of the reason we got a low rating is because of the age of the field. It's 11 going on 12 years almost now. So that's part of the reason why we got some of these lower ratings. We do maintenance on the field. We have some spikes that are maybe 4 inches that go in and flip to the field. We do not have the equipment like these guys do to come in and do the deeper sort of fluffing up of the field. So that's why we got this rating. We sweep it and we spike it for the game to keep it soft or as much as possible.
So is this something where we would need to allocate money to do this proactively, to keep, maybe we do that more often, bring them in to do it more often to keep it in the 8 to 9
The board has already allocated 2 years worth of maintenance. It was around 20-something thousand for 2 years of maintenance, so we're good for the next couple of years. I think what the district needs to think about even longer term is at some point the field is going to be obsolete, and that's going to be a big ticket item. The number I got from we talked about before with a high school in Stockton was nearly $2 million, right? So we're doing our best to make that 4 or 5 years down the road, right? I think that we can get that out of this field. It's in pretty good shape. We've been taking good care of it. So that's our goal, is to keep it going as long as possible before we have to replace it. So
understood. And I was not implying or intimating that we weren't trying to take care of the field. I was just asking about it.
Believe me, we're trying to take care of it. We have other schools to build. We have other things to do. We don't unless I have $2 million laying around to replace the turf field. The high school I'm referring to in Stockton, they put a separate turf in just for flag football, right? We don't, we're not having that luxury here, right? So we want to make this last as long as possible.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's our goal.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 10, action items. Item A, consider approval of 2024-25 outdoor education agreements for LUSD K through 8 sites. Staff report?
Yeah, this is our annual science camp request. These are the choices of the school sites. The different schools like different places.
Move to
Go ahead.
Move to approve the 24-25 outdoor education agreements for LUSD K through 8 school sites.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Boulay and seconded by trustee Clements, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes with 3 ayes, no nos, and 2 absent. Item B, consider approval of the 2023-24 annual report expenditure plan for Proposition 28, the Art and Music in Schools AMS Funding Guarantee and Accountability Act. Staff report?
Yeah, one of the requirements of Prop 28 is to have an expenditure plan. The primary investment of those funds are being dedicated to expansion of music opportunities and some other things. So this is us fulfilling that requirement.
Move to approve the 2023-24 annual report expenditure plan for Proposition 28, the Art and Music in Schools AMS Funding Guarantee and Accountability Act.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Clements and seconded by trustee Boulay, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes with 3 ayes, no nos, and 2 absent. Item C, consider approval of the LUSD dress code policy. Staff report?
Yes, this is a culminating vote in support of a new update of the dress code policy. There was a first read of this policy at the last board meeting. It was vetted through a multiple committee, subcommittee process, the safety committee with board members present, district administration, and other staff. So this has been fully vetted. So we recommend approval.
Move to approve the LUSD dress code policy.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Boulay and seconded by trustee Clements, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor? Any opposed? The motion passes with 3 ayes, no nos, and 2 absent. Item D, consider approval of a contract with Summa Academy LLC for specialized academic instruction and other services for a student for the 2024-2025 school year. Total cost $87,341. Staff report?
Yes, the next few items are IEP driven for special education needs, either for a number of different areas. So this is for a student and IEP driven. We recommend approval.
Move to approve a contract with Summa Academy LLC for specialized academic instruction and other services for a student for the 2024-2025 school year. Total cost $87,341.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Clements and seconded by trustee Boulay, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes with 3 ayes, no nos, and 2 absent. Item E, consider approval of a contract with Behavioral and Education Consulting, Inc. for registered behavior technicians for multiple students for the 2024-2025 school year. Total cost $152,250. I believe there's no additional staff report needed.
Correct.
Move to approve the contract with Behavioral and Education Consulting, Inc. for registered behavior technicians for multiple students for the 2024-2025 school year. Total cost $152,250.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Boulay and seconded by trustee Clements, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes with 3 ayes, no nos, and 2 absent. Item F, consider approval of a contract with ProCare Therapy for an American Sign Language interpreter for a student for the 2024-2025 school year. Total cost $155,870.
Move to approve contract with ProCare Therapy for an American Sign Language interpreter for a student for the 2024-2025 school year. Total cost $155,870.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Clements and seconded by trustee Boulay, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes with 3 ayes, no nos, and 2 absent. Item G, consider approval of a contract with ProCare Therapy for a registered behavior technician for a student for the 2024-2025 school year, total cost $79,591.
Move to approve the contract with ProCare Therapy for a registered behavior technician for a student for the 2024-2025 school year, total cost $79,591.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Boulay and seconded by trustee Clements, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes with 3 ayes, no nos, and 2 absent. Item H, consider approval of a contract with Aya Healthcare Incorporated for a speech-language pathologist for multiple students for the 2025 school year, total cost $150,930.
Move to approve contract with Aya Healthcare Inc. for a speech-language pathologist for multiple students for the 2024-2025 school year. Total cost $150,930.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Clements and seconded by trustee Boulay, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes with 3 ayes, no nos, and 2 absent. Item I, consider approval of second reading and adoption of updated board policies and administrative regulations. Staff report.
This is the second read. We've received no feedback on the first read. We recommend approval.
Move to approve the second reading and adoption of updated board policies and administrative regulations.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Boulay and seconded by trustee Clements, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes with 3 ayes, no nos, and 2 absent. Item J, consider approval of amendment to the architectural services agreement with Nichols, Melberg, and Rosetto for the design and construction administration of the South Sports Fields project, additional cost $150,000. Staff report.
Yes. So in the last couple of years, the district has negotiated additional property for the school district. This project, when complete, will take up 6 of 19 acres. The plan is again, like similarly to the 15 classroom project, is we need to have field space for student activities. So this is going to be a big lawn, and the famous Jimmy line machine will draw the lines of a square or rectangle at our pleasure. So any activities from freshman football, freshman sports, marching band, flag football, field hockey, lacrosse, I mean, all kinds of other things. As we get bigger and there's no space for kids, like the best 25 kids do sport X, the next 25 are going to look for something else. So these fields will be put in the next year. A couple of other things. So you put in grass. It's 2 blocks from the high school. One of the other things we're in discussion about is when to design and when to consider funding a storage facility restroom on that 19-acre site. So when we opened the high school, baseball team, traveling baseball teams and softball teams, they had to walk across the field and into the classroom wing because we couldn't afford to put in a very expensive restroom and storage place. So the projected cost is somewhere between $500,000 and $750,000 to put that in. So in the future, whether it's in the short term or long term, we need room to put stuff like equipment, and people are human and they have to use the restroom. So that is a must. What we are talking about with the architect is, do we invest $25,000 or more on having it designed now, or do we wait until we know for sure we have the funding secure? So we may have to have a plan B for the short-term porta potties or something like that. But it is part of the dialogue that's been going on for quite some time. So this is for drawing the giant 6-acre lawn and all the things that come with it.
Move to approve amendment to the architectural services agreement with Nichols, Melberg, and Rosetto for the design and construction administration of the South Sports Fields project. Additional cost $150,000, with the comment that I think that the concept of having a field adjacent to the high school, and having people walk to the high school is a completely different concept than having them down the street, you know, that, anyway.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Clements and seconded by trustee Boulay, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes with 3 ayes, no nos, and 2 absent. Item K, consider approval of governing board resolution number 24-25-01, declaring intention to reimburse expenditures from the proceeds of obligations to be issued by the district and directing certain actions. Staff report.
Yes, and this is a very bureaucratic sounding item, but it's excruciatingly important. This is one of the initial steps to forming a CFD, or a community facilities district, which is the legal mechanism to charge Melrose taxes that go to the county that are pooled together that funnel back to the district to build a K-8 school. This particular item, and it was written by the bond attorney, so I want to get it right here. The resolution that is on the agenda for tonight is a reimbursement resolution for neighborhoods I, J, and K to comply with federal tax law. It is a step in the way. We are waiting for information from the consultant that works for the developer to complete the information piece for the actual CFD formation. And we expect in that formation, and this is important to put on the record, that we expect neighborhoods I, J, and K to be in the CFD, and that neighborhood L will be in the future annexation area as well. And why is that important? The developer plans the original plan north of the Byron Highway, as a quick historical summary, was neighborhood I and neighborhood J were age restricted, meaning 55 and older, past having kids, no school. And neighborhood K and L would house a school. There's been many machinations since that. And in its latest incarnation, which is being moved through or already approved upon, is J is going to have market rate housing with a school, K market rate housing with a school, I market rate housing with a school, and a portion of L, less than 50%, market rate housing. So all of those market rate areas produce children, and we have to have them go to school. There will not be enough money generated in neighborhood L to build a school. So that money for those kids will it'll go to J and K to make sure there's enough classroom space. So in including this in the public record that L will be in a future annexation area is saying publicly now so if anybody ever questions, I'm saying it now, that L is all part of this, and L is going to produce students, and they're going to be paying Melrose that help fund the 3 schools north of Byron Highway. And that is my report.
Thank you.
Move to approve Governing Board Resolution number 24-25-01, declaring intention to reimburse expenditures from the proceeds of obligations to be issued by the district and directing certain actions.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Boulay and seconded by trustee Clements, we'll do roll call vote.
Lisa Boulay,
Aye.
Colin Clements,
Aye.
Benita Daniel,
Absent.
Stephanie Olson,
Aye.
David Pombo.
Absent.
And student trustee preferential vote on that?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The resolution passes with 3 ayes, no nos, and 2 absent. Item L, consider approval to accept the proposal from Roblin Contracting Incorporation to remodel the kitchen at Lammersville Elementary School in the amount of $772,385. Staff report, sorry.
So this is a remodel, modernization of the kitchen at Lammersville. This project will go from approximately July 31st to the end of November. In terms of food preparation, the food for the kids during this construction period will be prepared at Bethany and transported to Lammersville. And just as a nuance, for the breakfast, kids who miss the breakfast will have a second chance breakfast during break. So Bernie is building a plan that will take care of all the needs out there.
Move to accept the proposal from Roebling Contracting, Inc. to remodel the kitchen at Lammersville Elementary School in the amount of $772,385, with my comment that I'm very excited to be, that we're upgrading those facilities.
And I will second.
On a motion by trustee Clements and seconded by trustee Boulay, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes with 3 ayes, no noes, and 2 absent. Moving on to item 11, information and discussion items. Item A, ethics training for school board members. Staff report.
This is just an FYI. The state legislature passed a law, and you'll be shocked to hear that it's a new rule. And board members are now required to take an ethics training. And so we wanted to let the board know that. And then Noel has some additional information that we'll pass on to you all. So this is just an FYI. Congratulations. It's going to turn into a Keenan training.
On the positive, unfortunately, as we have seen even in Northern California and districts even closer than that, ethics training is, I guess, necessary. On the downside, the trainings that they come out with, if the CPA exam is in, my continuing ed for my CPA is any indication, wow, really?
Thank you. If there are no other comments, we'll move on to item 12, calendar. Item A, Tuesday, August 6, 2024, first instructional day of the 2024-2025 school year. And item B, Wednesday, August 7th, 2024, next regular governing board meeting at 7 p.m. in the district office boardroom. In a moment, we'll move on to closed session where we will be discussing the following. Item A, public employee discipline dismissal release complaint, Government Code Section 54957. Item B, consider approval of long-term leave absent for certificated employee number 130543 from 8/6/2024 through 8/4/2025. Item C, conference with real property negotiators, Government Code Section 54956.8. And item D, public employee appointment employment evaluation superintendent, Government Code Section 54357.6. I will now entertain a motion.
Move to adjourn to closed session.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Boulay and seconded by trustee Clements, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes with 3 ayes, no noes, and 2 absent. We are adjourned to closed session at 7:52 p.m.